Hello, world. This is America's Supermom, and this is a special edition that I call the Corona Chronicles. During this time, we are suffering from a pandemic that is affecting everyone across the world. We are joined with the rules and regulations of being shelter in place, which means we are limited with the ability to go about our daily business, confined to our homes based on a coronavirus that has been sweeping the entire world. For some people, the effects could be mild. For others, it can be fatal. So we are coming together as a community, as a family during this time of difficulty to share what it is like in our part of the world, how we are affected, and the things that we have in common, what kind of problems that are taking place in our industries and in our relationships and finances, and coming together so that we can plan for a better tomorrow. As this epidemic or pandemic crosses the world, we are waiting for relief. We're waiting for the virus to die off and for us to go back to some state of normalcy, whatever that may be, after things kind of settle down. So, what is that going to look like once the dust settles? How are things going to be different? So, as we go through this process, we're coming together as a world to create ideas, strategies, connect in ways that we have never connected before. So that is the purpose of the special podcast that I call the Corona Chronicles, so that we can get some insight and have empathy and compassion on one another, create new innovative ideas that can not only improve our life, but our fellow brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want to thank you guys for listening today. Today we have a special guest, Teasha Jenea. She is going to be sharing some insight and some things that we can really hold on to during this trying time, dealing with the pandemic and being locked down, in our homes, so things like that. And she is going to be talking about never giving up. But before we dive into that topic, we want to give you the floor, Tiasha, so you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about, how you got to this mindset of never giving up.
Well, first and foremost, it was definitely a hard task for me
Mhm.
because I've always been told through family that you should have been a Jamaican, So
Mm.
um, everything that I've done, it's like I'm always a starter. I'm always a starter, but am I ever finishing anything? The
Mm.
Bible talks about being a jack of all trades and a master of none is what I hear
Mhm.
all the time, And so sometimes it's hard to deal with um, all the different tasks and then you're wondering, well, should I just give up on it? You know.
Mm.
And so I lost my father this past June. So it's almost been a year and it just went by so fast. I think I
Mhm.
slept most of it away.
Wow. Mhm. Sorry to
Yeah.
hear that.
It's okay. It's okay because he's resting and he's not hurting anymore. So that's the blessed part about it.
Mhm.
Um, but what I've learned in that process is that the word that I say he gave me, but I know it came from the Father
Mhm.
himself, but it's been ringing so clearly in my ear to never give up. So we're supposed to continue to press through and, you know, um, keep our eyes on the prize. And God don't give you anything without provision. So that vision that he puts on the inside of us is for a reason. It's what we do with it after he
Mhm.
gives it to us. Are we sitting on our gifts? Are we sitting on our goals? Are we pushing forth to get to that
Mhm.
next level or not? So, you know, that's
That is
where
a
never giving up came from with me.
that is awesome. Now, so tell everybody, you say you're a starter and everything. Let us have some insight on what type of businesses you have and what is it that, you are working on right now.
Oh wow. How much time do we have? Oh goodness. Well, just for starters, I
mhm.
am a total package coach. So with
Mhm.
that being said, I kind of roll your life coach into balancing through every area of your life.
Mhm.
And there are I hear some say seven, I kind of say eight. I focus on really kind of five for the most part. Life
Mhm.
of your life situations, and that's your health, your wealth, your beauty, your finance, and your mindset. But
Mhm.
I've recently learned that there's more areas of your life that you should
Mhm.
incorporate to balance. As
Mhm.
I find balance in my life with six children, a husband. I was taking care of my father, kind of back and forth tag teaming with my mom
Mhm.
during that process, plus balancing business and entrepreneurship, which is a
Mhm.
job in itself.
Mhm.
But those areas is your career and business is one, finance
Mhm.
and wealth is two, friends
Mhm.
and family is three,
Mhm.
four is fun, recreation, entertainment. Um,
Mhm.
five is your health and fitness. Six is your love life.
Mhm.
Seven is your physical environment. And eight being your personal spiritual development.
Mm.
And so, what I like to do with my total package coaching is help people understand those areas of their life. And so it's different with each person because, it should be a balance being when you have like, what do you call those things, when you're measuring out the concrete and you want to make sure it's level, the
Oh yeah.
levelers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. You want to make sure that that dot is in the middle and it's balanced. So,
Mm.
some areas may require more attention than others. And so you just
Mhm.
got to figure out what is your personal balance in those areas. Um, and so I work with people individually on that. But I'm also a
Mhm.
podcaster and a radio personality. Just
Mhm.
recently became a radio personality with TLKOVL Radio based out of St. Louis, Missouri. So
Mhm.
I do a lot of interviews with entrepreneurs and I talk to them about winning. You know,
Mm.
what areas of life did they win in? What did they overcome? How did they do it? And what's their
Mm.
definition of winning? So I like to hear from entrepreneurs. So I just recently did a show and it will air again tomorrow. Um,
Mhm.
but that particular show was winning after depression. And so
Wow.
depression and entrepreneurship kind of come hand in hand. And a lot of people don't realize what we battle with as entrepreneurs with the uncertainties, you know.
Mhm.
And like right
Mhm.
now, especially with the pandemic going on and the uncertainties
Mhm.
that we have. Hmm.
I love that. Now, so for somebody, you've listed a lot of different areas, and we've kind of been distracted with work and events and different things like that. But now we're in a place to where we really have a time for reflection.
Hmm.
We're limited on the distractions. And what uh, signs does someone have that they are not in balance? That they would know that they would need to have a coach.
Signs that I look for is if they seem anxious or signs of discombobulation, like
Mhm.
they're all over the place.
Mhm.
If they have a hard time being on time or on task,
Mm.
scheduling
Mhm.
different things. You can kind of piece together with some people the way that they talk if they have everything together or not. And
Mhm.
sometimes, and I say we because I'm including myself, have a
Mhm.
have a thing about covering things up. We're good with putting on the mask, and so it's time to take that
Mhm.
mask off of,
Mhm.
like I said, of entrepreneurship. Because in being an entrepreneur, we do battle with, you know, different mental illnesses, and so
Mhm.
we have a tendency of covering those up because we're worried about if someone's going to work with us or if we can help
Mm.
someone else. And so I look for those signs, and it's so easy to look for them when you've like overcame it or been through it, you know.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is so good. So now you're saying that we battle with different mental illnesses. Now I know in my case I was dealing with depression
Mhm.
and I was functionally depressed.
Right.
So I was still doing these different things and, going places nobody on the outside knew.
Mhm.
But what are some other illnesses that you think might be prominent, that other people may not be recognizing or that they are covering up?
I mean, well, same, like I said, with mental illness, you got depression, you have anxiety,
Mhm.
you have
Mhm.
people that are bipolar, um,
Mhm.
you have those that bury their problems in alcohol and drugs. But like you
Mhm.
said, they're functioning alcoholics. They're functioning through this process because it's so easy for them because they're used to doing it.
Mhm.
They're doing it on a regular basis. And so,
Mhm.
sometimes, to closed minded individuals, they can't see it. So they go day to
Mm.
day and they're not picking up on the signs. And so my job is to recognize what the problem is, but not just
Mhm.
for me to recognize it, but they have to recognize it as well in order to start the process. And until you
Mhm.
understand that you have a problem, there's nothing you can do.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm. I love that. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, so what advice would you give somebody today? Because you do work with the total package. So somebody who is working from home, they're not used to that environment. Their kids are there, and
Tell me
it's
about
like
it.
boom, everything. Their husband. Everybody's just close quarters. So what advice would you give them about, navigating through this space in a healthy way? Because it's like everything at one time, on top of, being concerned about your own health. If you go out and, deal with wearing your gloves or mask or whatever that is. So, what advice would you give them?
One advice that I would give them is to one, take this pandemic seriously.
Mhm.
I believe in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. I believe in God, and I believe that He is our protector and our healer, and that He will provide and He will heal the land. I believe in all of those things. And,
Mhm.
until the world believes it, we're going to be struggling with this situation. And so,
Mhm.
um, for for those people who are dealing with finding balance in the new pandemic era that we're in, when you have family in the home, you're not used to one being in close quarters with them 24/7. You know, our
Mhm.
children go to school, we go to work, and for those of you that are entrepreneurs like myself, you stay home. And so sometimes I look for that quiet time just for me. One
Mhm.
thing that you will
Mhm.
have to do is continue to stay in a routine. So if you're used to waking up
Mhm.
at 8 o'clock, you wake up at 8 o'clock. If you're used to waking up at six
Mhm.
o'clock, you wake up at 6. Don't change it because it's just like
Mhm.
when the time springs forward or falls back. We have to continue
Mhm.
to say, okay, it's 6 o'clock. I don't care if it's daylight outside, we're still going to have dinner at 6 o'clock. If we're to come in the house
Mhm.
when the street lights come on, so we have to be consistent for one. For
Mhm.
two, we have to stay prayed up. You have to pray without ceasing, pray
Mhm.
daily, because that's the only thing that's going to keep, depression, anxiety, nervousness. If you're claustrophobic, Lord help them,
Mhm.
because I dealt with that
Mhm.
after having my last son being claustrophobic. I didn't want to be so close knit to people, and I'm a lover. I
Mm.
love to hug and be close to people.
Mhm.
So it was terrifying for me to feel that anxiety build up when I got into
Mm.
a close knit area with people. Um,
Mhm.
Make time for yourself, like I told you earlier. You want to
Mhm.
find some time that's just for you. So even if you have to say, okay, kids, y'all go outside and play in the front yard while I just have some me time. Find some time to
Mhm.
spend with your spouse, whether the kids are in the bed,
Mhm.
you're watching a movie, whatever. Find something to do that is just for the two of you. um Create
Mhm.
a family game night, or something that can
Mhm.
involve everybody, where everybody's communicating and enjoying one another and taking their mind off of what's going on in the world.
Mhm.
Stop listening to so much news.
Amen to
Because
that.
it will
Mhm.
kill you just by looking at it. If they say, oh, if you get a little runny nose, or if you get a cough, it's just like,
Mhm.
when people tell you, don't look down when you're standing on the bridge and the first thing you do is look down. That's what the
Right.
news is doing to us. It's making us panic.
Mhm.
And so we don't need
Mhm.
that. We're already at home every day. Don't know if we're gonna have food tomorrow. Because my children,
Mhm.
if your children are anything like mine, they're eating up everything. And so I told them, I said, look, y'all need to watch the Will Smith movie, I Am Legend. People was
Mhm.
leaving here, and food, we were trying to struggle and eat, and you gonna eat it all up in one week. So,
Mhm.
do things in
Mhm.
moderation. And like I said, stay consistent and do what you would normally do on a regular basis.
Mhm. I love
Hmm.
that. Now, so for somebody who is looking to kind of begin their own business during this time, they figure they're at home, they got some time on their hands,
Hmm.
and how would you advise them to move forward with finding that business, that thing that's, even if it's something that they're doing part
Hmm.
time, how did they go about deciding what they start working on?
What I would tell people is that you first have to know what your passion is. What is your niche? What do you
Mhm.
love to do
Mhm.
that you would do every
Mhm.
day, all day, and not get paid for it?
Mhm.
Once you
Mhm.
answer that question, like for instance, I love to beautify people. I love people um, to look at me and say, thank you, because you made me look pretty today, or something, because I went to
Mm.
school for cosmetology, so I do hair. And
Mhm.
and so the best part of doing hair for my clients is to see them smile afterwards. that's
Mhm.
that's my payment
Mhm.
for the most part, because I don't even
Mhm.
charge
Mhm.
what everybody charges in the beauty salons and things of that nature. Even when I was in the salon, they didn't even want me in the
Mm.
salon anymore, because they were looking at me like, wait a minute, you're taking all the clients, because you're not charging
Mm.
what we charge. This is our payment.
Mhm.
And so,
Right.
I had to kind of adjust it for the time being while I was there. But 9 times out of 10, I gave them some of their money back, and they just didn't know it. But I
Mm.
just, like, I don't feel like when you're in that process of finding what it is you love to do that you can do one with your eyes closed. You can do it for free. You can do it
Mhm.
without question. And then another thing is, once you figure out what that is, if you I always have been told that if you do what you love what you do, that
Mhm.
it comes
Mhm.
natural and it's not a job at that point, you know.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. Mhm. That's
mhm.
good. Okay. Now, so what books or podcasts? We know you have your
Mhm.
podcast, but what things would you suggest for people to kind of, read or listen to during all this time that we have?
Oh, I follow Grant Cardone,
Mhm.
10X. Oh
Mhm.
my goodness, I've been reading that
Mhm.
book, and Millionaire Mindset. Those two books,
Mhm.
they have really given me so much insight on who I am and what I provide for my clientele and how I can help them. And it's just been such an
Mm.
inspirational read for me, both of them. And I'm not complete
Okay.
with them yet, but you know, I have the Audible version, so when I find a few moments of time around these children and I can really listen,
Mhm.
I take notes and I kind of pause and meditate on the notes and kind of reread what I wrote and go from there. So Grant Cardone is one of my inspirational people that I follow, and I also follow Steve
Mhm.
Harvey, so I kind of listen to some of his
Mm.
motivational talks because my thing with Steve Harvey is that he came from nothing, just like,
Mhm.
most of us.
Mhm.
And so we weren't born with
Mhm.
a silver spoon in our mouth. So staying motivated, any motivational reads or, just
Mhm.
journaling and writing affirmations daily. How do
Mhm.
you feel today?
Mhm.
Well, today I feel
Mhm.
great and I am blessed and I am highly favored. And, just start writing whatever comes to mind and
Mhm.
then read them.
Mhm.
Post them up on your windows, your mirrors, your refrigerator doors, wherever you are, so that you can see them. And
Mhm.
then it will rub off on your children and they're starting to say, I am beautiful. I am handsome,
Mhm.
because they are
Mhm.
what, they say you are what you eat. And so whatever you're feeding your children, that's what they'll be.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
hmm
I love it. Well, our last question is about parenting. What advice would you give the parents out there? If it's some creative snacks or um, routines that you can establish with your kids, because so many women are just feeling completely
Oh, I
overwhelmed.
bet.
And with you having 6 kids, so just shed some light on, a piece of advice that you would give to the parents out there.
Well, one piece of advice, because I'm not sure the ages of their children, but mine range from 7 to 18. And so
Mhm.
what I do is, children don't like to be talked at, but they love being
Mhm.
around other children. And so what I do with my children is I pair them up and I say, hey, you work with him on his words today. And then you work with
Mhm.
her on, whatever it is she's struggling with. I believe
Mhm.
in God giving us puzzle pieces. So whatever it is that we do in our
Mhm.
life, he only gives us one piece of the puzzle at a time. And so, where
Mm.
one person is strong, another may be weak. And so, he uses
Mhm.
them to put them together so that they can become this masterpiece. And so,
Mm.
when you teach your children how to work together and you get them off of
Mhm.
media all day long, whether it's games or phones
Mhm.
or tablets or computers, because mine,
Mhm.
if I would let them, they would stay on there all day and they'll forget what day it is. And so
Right.
you
Right.
know, set a schedule for them on a regular basis on, what time they're eating breakfast, what time they're waking up, what time they're going to
Mhm.
bed, what are they going to have for
Mhm.
snacks, what are they going to have for dinner, and prepare it in advance. And
Mhm.
what I do with my children is I sit down with them and I find out, hey, what you want to eat this week? You know, I
Mhm.
have a total of
Mhm.
six children, but
Mhm.
I have five living with me. And then, of course, my stepdaughter, she's in New Orleans. But out of the five that are
Mhm.
here, there's 5 days in the week. And then there's 2 days that you can have for leftovers. And so I always try
Mm.
to pick a meal like spaghetti or taco salad or lasagna, something that
Mhm.
can stretch over a 2 day period.
Mhm.
And so I have at least one of those that stretch over 2 days. And then they help to
Mm.
cook as well.
I love that.
Having one day for cereal, another day for pancakes, another day, for
Mhm.
oatmeal or what have you. And then for lunch, you might have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or you might have ham and cheese, or, we may decide to do
Mhm.
hot wings one day, you know. And
Mhm.
so the
Mhm.
object of it is to make a schedule, because when you make that meal schedule, a meal plan for your family, you can budget it in a way where, okay, this person is getting this many slices of pizza, so we need this many pieces of pizza for this particular day or this week. And then you know
Mhm.
how to go buy and purchase. So then you're saving money when you go shopping. But you got to get what's on that list and only what's on that list, because if you get more, you're going to eat more, if that makes sense.
That's
Right.
exactly right. That's
Yep.
exactly right. I
And
know
then
it.
my children, being
Mhm.
that
Well, we just
they're entrepreneurs as well, and then they're self motivated and they love to cook and bake. They stay on the Tasty app learning new menu items, so they help to cook. So you involve
okay.
them in that
I like
process,
that.
and they'll love it as well. So, hmm
Mhm. I love that. My kids, they love that app too. One of my daughters, she
oh
really gets
yeah.
into it. But you've said some great nuggets of things that a lot of women, I'm sure, could identify with. So, what would be the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Well, you can reach me on my all my social media handles. Is all I am Teasha Jenea. With Facebook, I think is I.am dot Teasha dot Jenea. If you was to write, the full website out, facebook.com/, there's dots in between, but it's I
Mhm.
am Teasha, and that's spelled Teasha, Jenea, Jenea. That's also my website. I am tiashajanay.com. And then, of course, I have a Winning for Entrepreneurs page. Well, that's Wanda's title, Winning for Entrepreneurs. That's not my title. um, mine is
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
mine is the Winning Circle page, and it's built
Okay.
for
Okay.
entrepreneurs like yourself that can come in and post what they have going on. It's just networking, it's love, it's likes for likes. um and
Mhm.
it's a lot of winning going on in there, so I give prizes for those that are active and engaged. And then I also have
Mm.
with the podcast and the magazine, that's a spin-off of that. And also coming is a coaching program where whatever it is that people are in need of learning, if I have the knowledge or if I can outsource the knowledge for instructors to come in and teach them what it is that they're wanting to learn, that's going to be launching towards the end of the year. So I'm excited about that. um, and of
Mm.
course, the podcast is to interview our entrepreneurs so that they can get global exposure, and the magazine for ad
Mhm.
placements, where once it's out there, people can order and purchase and reach out to you all over the United States. So, mhm.
Love that. I love that. Very good. Well, a woman on the move. This is great. So I just want to thank you again for coming and thank you for your words of wisdom. Very, very important and so much positivity. Just I love the fact that you have given the audience plenty of things that they could be proactive in doing. During this time, and I think that's what's
Oh,
really
yes,
important.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm. All right. Well, you have a wonderful evening, and thanks
Oh,
again for
no
coming
problem.
by.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we'll
All
talk
right. Bye
soon,
bye.
okay? What a great interview. I love those tips about um, staying in a routine. The whole thing about, when in a midst of chaos, have structure, have routines and schedules that you can, control within your household and just with your daily action plan so that it will help you to minimize stress and anxiety. So I thought that was a great point. And just the concept of teamwork and having the kids work together on schoolwork, a number of things. So I hope you guys got value out of that. If you're interested in being a guest, you can email me at info@LachelleAtkins.com, or you can reach out to me through Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, or my YouTube channel. So I want to thank you all for listening. I'm thinking watching, okay, but I want to thank you for listening, and I encourage you to pass this on to anybody who you feel might get value from this. And you can also do a review on any of my podcast platforms. So thanks again, and have a wonderful day.